From Pure Light. Excited to host this webinar with you this evening. We are talking about one of the most important topics this time of the year, and practically this last 2 years, a strong immune system for your entire family. This conversation tonight is going to challenge some of your belief systems. This conversation tonight is going to empower you. It's going to give you information that maybe you've never heard before. And most importantly, it's going to give you action steps that you can take right after this webinar in order to strengthen your immune system and your family's immune system. Reality is, a lot of the things that we have been told are not correct when it comes to our immune system, sadly enough. However, I'm going to give you a different perspective. We're going to talk about things a little bit differently so that you can make different choices in order to have the strongest immune system possible for yourself as well as your family. So if you knew what I know, which you're going to learn a lot of that tonight, and you did what I did, you would have a very strong immune system. Here's the reality, is we live our life by results. We don't just live our life by what somebody told me. We implement things and we see how they work. And yes, obviously they all have science behind them, but the biggest thing is, do they work? Do we get results from the things that we're implementing? So I can guarantee you that if you implement these things, you will have positive results when it comes to your immune system for yourself as well as for your family. I've seen it happen in my family, my immediate family with myself and my wife and my daughter, as well as my extended family, my brother, my parents, my extended family out from there, my friends, the people who come into our practice. So many people live this way and have strong immune systems right now, yesterday, and in the future, okay? So let's start. The reason I'm giving you this information, because I'm not gonna stop until people are healthy, thriving, and empowered, that they make their own decisions. They don't just do something because somebody else told them to do it, because it actually makes sense and it yields good results. So promises for tonight: a different view on health, deeper understanding of the immune system. When in reality, when we talk about the immune system, we can't just localize just the immune system. We have to talk about the overall health of the body, and then action steps to strengthen your body, aka strengthen your immune system, as well as your child's immune system. First and most important is that we were designed to be healthy. Let me tell you that again. We were designed to be healthy. This thing, this beautiful thing that we live our life in, called the human body, was designed to be healthy, right? When that child is inside that mother's womb, that mom has to tell that child nothing about development. She just sleeps, she eats, she feels like crap, she barfs, she feels a little crazy, and then she goes through one of the most intense experiences in the entire world of giving birth. And that child comes out and it breathes air for the first time, most of the time perfectly, and that child is functioning and ready for the outside world and feeds, sleeps, poops, does all the things. Why? Because the human body is extremely intelligent. The reality is that our world interferes with that, and it bogs down the human body, and it makes us sick. What we need to do is we need to weed out what we've been told, implement different things, get different results. So when it comes to immunity, okay, there are two major theories. The first biggest one that everybody's aware of, even if you don't know the name of it, is called the germ theory. It means that there are negative pathogens in our world, germs, and they get us sick, okay? There's a portion of that that's correct. However, it leaves out so many things. We'll talk about what it leaves out. I'm just gonna dig a little bit more into that. So with that theory of the germ theory, we therefore kill and neutralize pathogens with antibiotics, with disinfectants, with antiseptics, and all these things that we neutralize in our environment. Here's the reality, is that not all pathogens are bad. Reality is most pathogens are good, okay? And I'm not even gonna use the word pathogens. X that out. Negative pathogens, and then microbes, which are bacteria, viruses, fungi, bacteriophages, and so on, that actually benefit our body. However, when we disinfect and sterilize everything, it gets rid of most of the good bacteria that exists in our world, and also the bad ones, and therefore sets the ground for the bad ones to exist. I literally see it happen all the time in our practice with people. Their kiddos go on a bunch of antibiotics, and then it's just a cycle of sickness, and they begin to feed it, and the negative pathogens just run rampant in their system. Okay, so if we look at the germ theory, we understand it. It's going to take you a lot if you're really trenched in this theory to go to the next step. The next step is that the other theory called the terrain theory. Okay, the terrain theory says obviously that there are pathogens that can get us sick, but it accounts the fact that when we have a strong body, our likelihood of getting sick is so much lower, and our effects on our body when we do get sick, how we respond, how we recover, how intense it is, how long it lasts, is a big factor of it. So what that's saying is that how we choose to take care of our body affects how we respond to negative pathogens. And also included in the terrain theory is the fact that we are going to get sick. There's nothing wrong with getting sick. Yes, getting sick every single month or 8 times a year, or whatever it is, right? And getting taken out for weeks on end. Yeah, that's not normal. However, we are going to get sick 1 to 2 times a year. Totally good. It's our body's way to flex its immune system muscles, to strengthen itself, especially in kids. We detoxify, we regenerate. We also, in kiddos, see it all the time in our practice, and I've seen it in my daughter many, many times. When they get a sickness, especially a little virus, the development that happens neurologically from that virus when their body activates its immune system, gets those boogers, gets that cough, gets the fever going, it literally causes development. I've witnessed it happen so many times and asked parents to check out and notice it. And every single parent comes back and says, wow, I noticed this happened after they just got sick. Okay, awesome. So there's a piece of that as well that factors into that terrain theory. So when we do that, when we look at those two theories, the germ theory, the terrain theory, okay, I was raised in the germ theory. So was my wife, Dr. Sarah. So is so many people, okay? Let me give you my story. I grew up, I got bronchitis every year, I got the colds, flu, I got all the things, I went on antibiotics, and so did my wife, right? She used to have croup all the time. She had raging ear infections as a kid. She had strep throat multiple times. Why? Because we lived our world in the germ theory. And therefore, we were given things. I was lucky enough that we ate a lot of organic food. However, I had friends and I rebelled against that. My wife, different story. Did not eat well, did not function well. When we learned a different perspective, we learned a healthier way of living, a healthier way of being, we started to implement that before we knew the word for it, called the terrain theory, is that we strengthened our bodies. And now here we are, many years down the road. I get sick rather infrequently. I can't even tell you the last time I had to spend even a day in bed from being sick. I can always function if I get symptomatic. Same thing with my wife. If she gets hit, it's a lot less frequent than it happened in her past. Once in a while, she's like, hey, I need a couple hours to rest. I need to take a nap. And she bounces back. With my daughter, same thing. She's had maybe one sickness in her almost 3 years of existence that took her down where she couldn't really function, okay? 1 or 2 days. That's it. Why? Because we strengthen our bodies and we do it every single day. When we look at that perspective, we know that when we strengthen our bodies, it's important to look at it from these perspectives, okay? We talk about this in our office all the time. 2 key perspectives. Number 1, remove interference and optimize, okay? There are interferences to our immune system in this case, but mainly to our body, that are interfering with the flow of health. We'll keep it that simple, okay? And how do we, once we remove those interferences, begin to optimize our system? We live in a time when there's more fear, there's more toxins, there's more, detriment to the human body. And on the other perspective, from a more optimistic, positive perspective, we live in a time when we have more knowledge, more power, more understanding, more superfoods, more things like chiropractic care to make our bodies function optimally. Two ends of the spectrum, both ways are running. Optimizing and destroying the body is both running in opposite ways. Which way are you going to choose to run? I think you know which way that I'm going to choose to run. I'm going to choose the optimizing route and making myself stronger every single day than I ever have been. Because our bodies, we've been endowed with this amazing principle called adaptation. We can adapt and optimize our systems to better adapt to the environment. One last thing that we can apply from the terrain theory that I missed, that I want to tell you about, is the fact that viruses, there's a theory within that say viruses established about 50% of the genetic blueprint of the human being. So what that's saying is that viruses come in, help us establish new environments to regenerate our genetics to help us better adapt to the world. Think about it. If you have an iPhone, you update your operating system, okay? We're on what? Operating system iOS 15, right? I just updated my phone the other day to 15.1. So when you get a virus, 15.1 into your system from 15, your operating system, just like your cell phone, operates better to the current environment. Chew on that one, okay? Really, really, really cool stuff regarding that one. Second key statement to consider. You need to balance your internal environment and you need to balance your external environment, okay? The only thing that you can really balance in your external environment is what you utilize in your environment, such as toxins, and we'll talk a little bit about that, okay? When it comes to your immune system, we're going to talk immunity as well as physiology, body function. So the biggest foundation interference to our system is stress, okay? Stress. We all experience it. We all know what it is. But I'm not just talking about conscious stress. I'm talking about subconscious stress. Conscious stress is like, man, I'm feeling really, really stressed out today. Subconscious stress can mean I'm feeling really good today. But if you check your body and scan your body like we do in our office, your subconscious system might be stressed. You might pattern over on the stress response side. When you have stress in your system, let me tell you what it does to your physiology, okay? Physiology means the way that your body functions. What happens is that you're in this fight or flight mode, okay? That was put within this amazing machine to allow us to fight, flight, or freeze, okay? In a moment or a couple seconds or a couple minutes, not constantly every single day and influencing yourself, doing it so much that subconsciously your brain and nervous system begins to run that pattern. That becomes its default. What we have to do is get that off, and we'll talk about that, okay? So what it does is it shunts blood different places that it doesn't need to be in our body so that our immune system doesn't work as properly as it can. If we're running from a saber-toothed tiger, we're fighting a saber-toothed tiger, or freezing because of a saber-toothed tiger, is it important to have a strong immune system or not? It's not important. Is it important to digest your food? No. Do you take deep breaths or shallow breaths? You take shallow stress breaths. Let's say your pupils. Are your pupils big or are your pupils small? Your pupils are big, okay? Look at your pupils in the mirror. How is your body responding to stress? So we go back into the immune system response. When we're constantly running on that stress response over and over and over, the reality is our kiddos are running down that so much more than they ever have been in the history of our world. So when we look at that, the immune system is constantly not functioning the way that it needs to. We're not fighting off the things that we need to in a way that we should be, okay? So from that stress perspective, we need to derail that subconscious stress. We need to get you back on the path of adaptation, better between stress, relaxed, and get you balanced. And the best way that we know to do that is a foundation is through consistent chiropractic care. And you can do other things in your life as well, such as meditation, okay? But chiropractically, when we have interferences in our system, especially in our spine, influences our brain, puts us in protection mode, doesn't get us into our highest brain, and therefore, when we're in our highest brain, our immune system functions properly. When we're in our protection brain, our immune system does not function properly. The rest of our physiology doesn't function properly, and here we go. The cascade continues, okay? That is the foundation. Secondly, environment, okay? We'll talk about your internal environment. We talked about neurology. We talked a little bit about physiology, okay? Microbially, okay? Microbial balance. Have you ever heard the statistic that you have more microbes in your body than you do cells? So you say, well, why do I want to look like a big microbe then? If you looked at yourself under a microscope, you would. However, cells are bigger than microbes. That's why you don't look like a big microbe. You have more microbes in your body than you do cells. And microbes are bacteria, fungi, viruses, bacteriophages. So when we disrupt that from being consistently stressed, eating like crap, not functioning well, eating a bunch of sugar, all that having a toxic environment, we're going to get disrupted. We're going to disrupt our microbial environment, okay? And when you eat like crap, you put glyphosate in your body, you have toxins. So glyphosate is Roundup sprayed on genetically modified organisms, genetically modified food, creates permeation in the gut wall, disrupts the microbial environment. Your microbial environment helps your system, your immune system, function the way that it should when it's balanced. Because a lot of your immune system is located within your gut. When your microbial environment is off in your gut, your immune system is going to be off. Let me give you an example. As we all have had really, really great parenting moments for those of us who are parents, right? We are obsessed with optimizing our daughter, and we're obsessed with doing things that are good. However, you can do too much of something. What we did too much of something, mainly what I did too much of something with my daughter, is I gave her too much sauerkraut. Loves sauerkraut. Way too much, like every single meal, boatloads of it. What happened over months is she began to have a yeast imbalance. Throw sauerkraut and some fruit on top of there, yeast began to run rampant in her system. So when that happened, I noticed that her microbial environment got off. She had rashes. She just was her normal self. We did a stool sample, checked that out, see how she was functioning. Her microbial environment was off. What was happening? She was getting sick more frequently, and she wasn't kicking sicknesses as easily. When we changed that, when we rebalanced her microbial environment, when we got her functioning better, got sick less frequently. And when she did get sick, kicked it quicker, didn't affect her as much. We got that microbial system in balance. How do we balance it out? Two basic ways. We're going to start here. Get on a good probiotic. In our office, we use Lacto Prime Plus, as well as GI Ion Gut. Okay? Those two, huge. Okay? And a part of that balancing the microbial environment is getting you off the stress response, because when you're on the stress response, your system is not going to have the right microbes. When you're more balanced, your system is going to have better microbes. In our world, consistent chiropractic care. With that, we also need to heal our gut. Having on a good probiotic, getting good ion gut, as well as getting consistently adjusted. Those three things will allow your system to heal the gut. And on top of that, food, dietary things, okay? We'll talk a little bit more about that, okay? Balancing your external environment. Get the toxins out. Seriously, stop buying the Lysol, stop buying the Tide, stop buying the air fresheners, stop buying the chemicals. Stop doing it. There are more information, more things that you can go natural now than you ever have been. An easy one is a company called Branch Basics. Super easy, okay? To clean, detergents, all of that. Switch to essential oils. Those two things, you can pretty much conquer everything. Branch Basics and an essential oil, because I know you have 14 friends who are doTERRA or Young Living, and you can conquer that. Get the toxins out. And on top of that, toxins are in your food. What is organic versus conventional? Okay, organic food, less pesticides, less things than that, not genetically modified. The biggest thing when eating conventional food, non-organic food, is the fact that it's genetically modified and it's sprayed with Roundup. And Roundup, the active ingredient, is glyphosate that disrupts your microbial environment and that widens the gap junctions in your intestines. More stuff gets through, and therefore you have more prone to have autoimmunity. Therefore, it's throwing off your immune system and it's not functioning properly. So heal that gut, get off the stress strain, eat better, clean up your house, and things are going to function so much better. Okay? What is coming up? What is here now? So what is here right now is cold and flu season. Okay? What's coming up? Thanksgiving and Christmas. What just happened? Halloween. Candy holiday, pie holiday, and cookie holiday. All refined sugars, all gluten, all dairy, wrecking your system. No wonder you feel like crap. No wonder you're gaining weight. No wonder your immune system's not functioning properly. Therefore, you're giving that most likely to your kids as well. And I'm not saying don't indulge a little bit. I go heavy on Thanksgiving, but it lasts on Thanksgiving, right? I go heavy. However, my heavy is all organic, all gluten-free. Mainly, if we're going to do dairy, we're going to do unpasteurized dairy, and we're going to do things the way they were designed to do. Okay? Yes, I'm going to eat a bunch of food, and yes, I'm going to have pie. But also, I'm not going to eat refined sugar. It's going to be maple syrup. It's going to be honey. Whatever it may be, we're going to do it naturally and normally and wholesomely. So don't blame the fact that, it's just luck of chance that these things are happening. It's not. You're getting empowered with the information in order to change. Okay, from an immunological standpoint, so immune system via supplementation. I already gave you good probiotic, ion gut. You could do elderberry, get one that doesn't have a bunch of sugar in it. Zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C. You're pretty much covered right there. You can add a bunch of other stuff on that, but if you're doing those consistently with yourself and your kiddos, you are on a good path. Exercise, mom and dad. Okay? Kiddos, different story. Your kiddos are just running around all day anyways. Awesome. Keep it going. Don't make them stop. Reality is they got the TV on too much. Turn it off. Get them running around the house. Bring them to the jump place. Bring them to the indoor pool. Bring them to the climbing gym, whatever it is. Get them moving. Mom and dad. You can exercise too much. You can exercise too little. And then you have a just right exercise. Okay? Too much. Don't work out every day. Move your body every day. Don't work out every day. If you work out hard every day, you're going to destroy your system. You're going to lower your immune system and you're going to get sick. Guaranteed. Too little, no activity at all. Being sedentary. Just right. Say exercise 3 to 4 times decently hard per week. Notice how you feel. Notice how you recover. You have to add good sleep on top of that. And then just move a little bit and give yourself, if you can, ideally, 1 day of rest a week. Regeneration. Regeneration and recovery is so, so important. Take good care of yourself. Sleep. We got to get adequate amount of sleep and we got to make sure it's uninterrupted. Gosh, that is a hard one as a parent. Just go to sleep a little bit earlier, even though you're getting interrupted. That's what I do. Just go to sleep a little bit earlier. And we've especially been focusing on that during this cold and flu season. All right, let me recap it for you. Okay? Stress. Get it out. Get off the train. Make sure your system is not functioning on the stress response. How do you figure out if you're stressed? Get scanned in our office. See how you're functioning on a deeper level, as well as your kiddos. So, so important. Get off the stress train. It's vital, vital, vital. Clean up your environment. Balance your internal environment. Get the toxins out of your external environment. Within your gut, make sure that's balanced. Make sure you're absorbing nutrients from tightening up those gap junctions, aka get out the crap in your diet and get out the stress and get out the toxins. Exercise. Don't exercise too much. Don't exercise too little. Exercise just right. Get a good amount of sleep. and your immune system and your children's immune system will be rocking this cold and flu season. How do I know? I implement it. My family implements it. My friends implement it. And the people that we see in our office implement it. And it makes such a difference. Such a difference. So if you want to get scanned, if you want to get evaluated, see how that stress response is influencing your body, we would be happy to check you out. Just mention this webinar. We'll give you 50% off your initial visit for yourself and your kiddos. And we'd be happy to be on your team to help you and your family function as optimally as you can by removing interference, optimizing your system, and balancing your environment. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be well, and I hope to see you soon.